It's a very important thing to validate yourself. It's your personal permission slip. I want you to think about this as your personal permission slip. Your self-validation is your personal permission slip to acknowledge your accomplishments, your achievements, even your knowledge and your expertise. And I haven't really done self-validation as a topic, so I'm kind of excited about doing this with you all here today. Um, I have spoken about it. I have incorporated into self-image my coverage of excuse me, my coverage of self-image, self-esteem, self-confidence, etc., where it is relative. Um, but this is something that I don't think I've covered, possibly because it feels very personal, feels a little weird emotionally, and it's somewhat uncomfortable, I guess, in the way that it shouldn't be. It's almost as if it's something that we shouldn't do because it can be self-gratifying. And let's face it, we can be kind of weird about self-gratifying. Some of us can anyway. However, it's about self-support, not comparison and narcissism, which I think we seem to equate sometimes self-validation with. Um, I think self-validation comes down to whether you trust you to give yourself a truthful report. That's what I think self-validation comes from, is whether or not you actually trust yourself to give you a truthful report, to have dialogue with yourself. Um, it's believing in yourself to deem you worthy, to positively and honestly stamp yourself with authority and approval. I feel a good reason why you should validate yourself is that there may be times in your life where there isn't anyone to do that for you. And it shouldn't be your expectation that someone should be. It's really your job to promote what you feel are valid reasons to consider your accomplishments, your achievements, and the affirmation of your existence as important. I'm going to read that because I know it's a lot to say, but I'm going to actually slow that down a little bit and read that because I believe that that is valuable. It's really your job. It's really our job to promote what we feel are valid reasons to consider our accomplishments, our achievements, and the affirmation of our existence as important. Because we have intrinsic value. We are valuable for the thing that is value itself. The thing that makes us valuable is us. But really, the thing that makes us valuable is God, who has created us and has made us valid. But what I'm saying is that we have authority to be validated, to validate ourselves. We've made so many contributions and achievements. So when it comes to having this imposter syndrome about what we have done, um, we have to recall and realize that we are valuable. That's number one. And that we are valid. We can validate ourselves. We shouldn't feel weird about validating ourselves, is kind of like where I'm going with this. I'm going to give you a stat, even though there's no stat that specifically uh, mentions that more people self-validate than others. But there's a study. There was one study that found 55% of people tie their self-worth to others' opinions, indicating a high need for external validation. This behavior is a normal part of human nature, but it can become excessive, and that's the key, and may be linked to issues like low self-esteem, anxiety, or childhood experiences where approval was conditional. And like self-image, a lot of things from our childhood, um, they sort of like arise and they mess with our self-image. Our self-image is actually kind of um, defined in some ways, in many ways. I believe I got this right, from our childhood experiences. And that's why what happens to us later in life, and we start to kind of like unpack what's going on with us, we start to realize that a lot has happened in our childhood And there were a lot of things that took away from our power to be able to see ourselves a certain way and um, have actually lowered our value and our self esteem. So this is all super duper important. And I didn't want to go off on a tangent that way, but if I did, forgive me. And just know that working to bring you the best content that I can to break things down the best way I can. So, that being said, I want to go with 7 simple and clear reasons why you should validate yourself. You should validate yourself to build resistance, boost self esteem, live authentically, and make decisions aligned with your values. Self validation fosters emotional intelligence and provides a stable sense of self worth, allowing you to handle challenges with inner strength and reduce the harmful cycle of seeking constant external approval. That is, the approval from outside sources, people, social media, etc. It's the foundation for self acceptance and a more genuine, confident life. A note on emotional intelligence, because I like demystifying things. I don't like using a whole uh, line of jargon that's scientific. We got some real folk out here and we got some real issues and some real problems. So let's go with some real language sometimes. I'm okay with that if you are. A note on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is about understanding your own feelings and the feelings of others. To keep it simple. That being said, let's now launch ourselves into those 7 simple and clear reasons why you should validate yourself. And if you're getting value, please do put it in the comments because we're about to go in. I see you out here, Connie. Welcome and good morning. I see you out here, Charlene. Welcome and good morning. Great morning, in fact. So, number one, a simple and clear reason why you should validate yourself is that it builds emotional resilience. Builds emotional resilience. Self-validation builds emotional resilience. It helps you build emotional resilience to handle difficult emotions by accepting them without judgment, which increases your capacity to cope with stress and setbacks. It also prevents your brain from being afraid of your own feelings. So it's think of it as think of validation, self-validating yourself is as a form of protection because it prevents your brain from being afraid of your own feelings, which makes them less intense and frequent in the long run. Number two, a simple and clear reason why you should validate yourself is that it boosts self esteem and confidence. By recognizing your own worth and accomplishments, you build a stable sense of self esteem that isn't dependent on external praise or achievements. And how's that? We like that. This inner confidence allows you to feel more secure and less vulnerable to the opinions of others. It is not easy sometimes to open up ourselves and be that to others. So this is a great thing because it boosts our self-esteem and it boosts our confidence inwardly, which of course outwardly is the goal that we hope that we do, whatever it is that we do on the inside um, to boost our confidence levels, to boost our self-esteem, it actually shows. Okay, that being said, number three, validating yourself leads to a more authentic life. When you validate your own thoughts, feelings, and desires, you become more in tune with your true self, leading to a more genuine and authentic life. It frees you from the pressure to perform or act in a certain way to gain approval. And I had a thought last night, and the thought was perhaps we're not living until we're living authentically. And I know this isn't an original thought, but it certainly is something that came to my head, which perhaps we're not living until we're living authentically. True fulfillment comes from living in alignment with one's own values rather than conforming to external expectations. My suggestion is that perhaps a life lived without authenticity is not a life fully lived, and the pursuit of living authentically is a central part of being alive. Because I know that I feel alive when I'm actually in pursuit of the goal of living more authentically. Really doesn't mean that the world has to know every single thing about you, because you know about you and God knows about you. But I have to say that there is something to living authentically, to living what you feel is your best life as authentically as you possibly can be, as honestly with yourself that you can. Hence, self validation. Make sure that, to the best of your abilities, that you're validating the most positive and I guess the best things that you can about yourself, the things that actually make sense to you, the things that actually make you feel good. Because I guarantee you, if you're feeling good, people are going to know you're feeling good. That is for sure. And when you live authentically, you feel free. You feel a sense of balance. You feel a sense of freedom. And there's a lot of respect that goes along with that for you, for yourself, and that other people will have for you. I do believe this. Simple and clear reason why you should validate yourself. Number four is that validating yourself improves decision making. Self validation allows you to make choices based on your own values and needs rather than seeking approval from others. You trust yourself more to make the right call. And that is huge because sometimes we don't trust ourselves to make the right call in things. And we beat ourselves up over it when we feel we didn't. This self determination leads to decisions that are right for you, not just those that will be accepted or praised by others. It's not about whether someone else accepts um, your decision really and making decisions that are right for you. It's about whether or not you've accepted it, whether or not you've done all of um, the working it out in your head, the figuring it out. Because it's not up to other people. They can praise you, and maybe they're not praising you for the right reasons for you making that decision. And if that's the case, then, well, then what have you really kind of gained when you think about it, right? Another simple and clear reason why you should validate yourself is because it increases self compassion. Practicing self validation is a form of self compassion where you treat yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and support you would offer a good friend. Because after all, if you're going to do that for other people and you're going to encourage other people and you're going to be kind to other people, you're going to give them understanding, you're going to give them the best of you. Are you willing to do that for yourself? Do you really understand how this works in terms of validating yourself? When you can validate yourself, that there is a certain amount of kindness that you are applying to you. When you can be kind to yourself, and it just means that you're really there for you. Honestly, that you're just there for you. You're in support of you. Because a lot of people are just, like, not there for themselves. They're not showing up for themselves, and there are times that we don't show up for ourselves the way that we should. So this is kind of just a really like a reminder, and that we have to increase the amount of self-compassion that we have on ourselves because we really go through a lot. We take ourselves a lot, people take us through a lot, and we wanna blame them, and we don't wanna take any responsibility for that end of things to heal because we want to make sure that people either know or they feel bad about what they did, what they said, um, being unkind. But where's the kindness in you? Where is it in you? And how are you dealing with it? What is your application? How are you making sure that you validate yourself in such a way that you feel your own compassion, that you actually feel that you were kind to yourself, that you actually feel that you were respectful to yourself and not in violation, but giving yourself validation. Number 6. Oh, yeah, I wanted to make a point before I go to number 6. This is an important point. Self validation is a crucial component of self love and self care as it involves treating yourself with kindness, acknowledging your worth, and accepting your feelings and flaws without judgment. Another reason why you should validate yourself, and this is number 6, is that it reduces dependence on external approval. Reduces dependence on external approval. Constantly seeking validation from others can lead to a cycle of chasing approval and feeling like you're never enough. And you know how I feel about that "you're never enough" thing because that's scarcity. So when you are validating yourself, you're also increasing the muscle of abundance and acknowledging that you are enough, that you're acknowledging your strengths, you're acknowledging who you are, and that you're celebrating your value intrinsically because you are enough. And that helps you in this battle when you undergo any kind of a scarcity mindset attack or a shift in your self-image like I've experienced. Self-validation shifts your focus inward, fulfilling your need for approval from yourself, which is a more stable and reliable source. You are a more stable and reliable source. Fulfilling that need for yourself is a more stable and reliable source. Um, that's why it's important to really kind of know yourself. Because what is the saying? Know thyself, and know thyself. Because when you do, you know, and if you can trust yourself, you know where that information's coming from. And you can say that, yeah, there's some stability there. There's some, uh, what is the word that I'm looking for? And yeah, there's just validity there in doing that. There's just power and there's validity. Number 7. Let's go to number 7 because another simple and clear reason why you should validate yourself is that it fosters inner peace. It fosters inner peace. Um, I thought about this, and the thought that came to my mind was that comparison And that inability to be able to accept yourself can be a noisy, unpeaceful place. It really can. When you accept yourself and your experiences, you find a deeper sense of contentment and peace from within. This inner peace is the foundation for navigating life's challenges with grace and a greater sense of balance. And my another thought I had about behind this was that given this, I do think it's healthy to validate yourself. And I feel that some self or internal validation is beneficial and can add value to how one sees one's self image. So that being said, I'm just going to kind of just go over the list one more time to make sure we've got it down. And I'm hoping that you have all gotten or getting great value. I am going to go to some of these comments. I know that there are a lot today, and I am happy and excited to be back, but I want to give you back some of your morning. It's Sunday morning, and I want to thank you all for being here. So, the 7 simple and clear reasons why you should validate yourself are: number 1, it builds emotional resilience. Number 2, boosts self-esteem and confidence. Number 3, it validates yourself. Validating yourself leads to a more authentic life. Number 4, it improves decision making. That's why you should validate yourself. Number 5, why you should validate yourself. It increases self-compassion. Number 6, it reduces dependence on external approval when you do validate yourself. And number 7, of the reasons why the clear, simple, and clear reasons why you should validate yourself is that it fosters inner peace.